Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back to the shoe.
The shoe.
Something happened to Juliet since the last time we did this.
You think you've
I
been
haven't-
drinking
it's
a
not
while there.
I've been doing dry January.
Oh, and your
Dry-ish.
brain.
Yeah, ish is, it's still
Damp
January.
I know, but it's like almost not.
There's all the words you can use.
It won't be when this airs. So,
Damp January. Moist January. People don't like the word moist.
oh,
Yeah.
It makes me want to use it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swampy. I think I had sort of a swampy January. I intended for a dry January, but everyone's like, would you like another drink?
I had a humid January.
Humid.
Humid.
Yeah. It's a dry heat. No, it's a wet, it's a humid heat. I don't know, whatever. Yeah. You-
dry heat. That's Arizona.
yeah.
I used to live there.
It was dry.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Southern Oregon. Nice way to get us on track here. I grew up in Southern Oregon coast mostly, all around Oregon because I moved between parents a lot, but small town, like a town of 2,500 people. That's where I
Okay.
went to high school.
In Oregon?
Yeah.
In the southern part of Oregon?
Yeah, so near the coast in a little town called Myrtle Point.
I know where that is.
What?
Because I drove from Cascade, California, all the way up
Cascadia.
to Portland.
So my folks now live in Coos Bay on
Yes.
the 101 going up the Oregon coast.
Yes.
And so when I go back, that's where I go.
That is actually an absolutely drop dead gorgeous area.
Yeah.
It is it's little known fact.
I was born in Portland.
I lived there too, but
Well, how long were you there?
Not long, but
Do you remember anything?
No, not from that early part. Except when I'm in that area, I feel some part of me is like, oh, this is home a little bit or something. It's weird because I have a connection to it. Where did they film Goonies?
Astoria.
Yeah, that's my uncle.
That's the
lived out there.
northern Oregon coast. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's also beautiful.
The whole coast is.
That whole
I like
coast,
Oregon.
all the way.
Yeah.
I like the southern coast because the weather's nice, but I kind of like that temperate climate up north. And my favorite place is to go even more north into Washington and then go to the San Juan Islands. And you're right on the border of Canada there. Oh my God, I was just amazed.
I've never been there.
She's taking a little trip in her mind.
I was just a friend of
journey.
mine.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt and Melina. Had their wedding on San Juan Island, and it was the first time we took a ferry. You pay to take a ferry out there, but then you can just take the ferries anywhere you want once you get out there.
Yeah.
And then you get to, there's several islands, that's why they're called the San Juan Islands, but San Juan itself is the biggest island, and it's like northern Minnesota, like a
Meets.
resort. With, but
Meets.
instead of meats,
East Coast.
orcas,
Martha's Vineyard.
orcas everywhere, oyster farms, like
So
is
fun.
beautiful.
I have never been there.
well, I think we should go. Girls trip.
All right.
Sorry, Sam.
Excluded.
Because you're not busy enough.
Girls trip.
No, tell me when.
Okay,
Yes.
girls and
I know someone on San
select
Juan Island.
boys.
Girls and Sam.
Did I just make the cut? Am I in?
Yeah, you're in. You're in, Sam. Yep.
Thanks.
You're in.
All right, so you grew up in Oregon. You got
Yes.
11 brothers and sisters.
One and a
One.
one.
That's what I said. 11.
Two things.
So yeah,
That's like psychic.
I
Yeah.
have
You know,
yeah.
a brother who's a little older than me and a sister who's a lot younger than me. So
Okay, did the little bit older brother sort of mold you and shape you into the human you are today by pestering you and giving you a hard time all the time so that you were super tough and resilient?
no.
Oh.
He was. We didn't always live together, so I think that changes the dynamic when you are kind of between parents and your
Yeah.
ships crossing in the night, right? So when we were little, we lived
Half brother?
No, we have the same parents, but we kind of lived with parents at different times until we were
that-
high school age.
Happened with me and my older brother occasionally too.
That's great.
Yeah, it's funny because
But-
my folks were divorced and
Yeah.
we would not always be in the same.
I think that we had a different appreciation for each other because we knew what it was like to not be together.
Okay.
Which is
so you loved each
good.
other.
Yeah.
You're tight.
Yeah, but I was much more of a follower then.
Okay.
He's just kind of, he has opinions and, a presence and confidence, and I wasn't really like that when I was younger.
Okay.
And so I would watch him live life and like model the parts of that that wouldn't get me in trouble, right?
Sure.
And he wasn't a troublemaker, but he tested things first, right? And I was like, that didn't work. I won't do that, right?
Police.
Not quite.
No.
Not quite. Nope. We were both very good kids, but he tested the waters. But even like things he would do first, he was a musician, so I wanted to be a musician. He was in student government, so I was like, I think I'll try that.
Yeah.
We didn't do all of the same activities. I was a cheerleader and he was a runner, but I kind of got into things that would push me into leadership positions because that's the direction he went.
Nice.
And I probably wouldn't have otherwise because I was much more shy and introverted.
Okay.
But I just saw something aspirational and inspirational, I think.
Yeah. Both.
And then he went off to school, and eventually I ended up at the same college he was at.
Oh, this is like a sweet story.
We have the same degree.
Oh.
We both majored in music at the same college.
Where was that?
Western Oregon University.
Okay.
So that's in Monmouth, Oregon.
Okay.
So kind of near Salem and near the capital.
Yeah.
And then, and we both ended up moving to Portland. We both used to work for the same bank. I was there first, though. So
you were there first.
there was a shift.
This is where the
You can get
shift
credit for that.
happened.
where I stopped being such a follower.
Right.
But I think it's good to see somebody who's kind of lived their life in a way that you're like, there's just bright spots that you want to emulate, right?
How much older?
He's 2.5 years older.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cute, though. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It sounds like he was a good role model or a good inspiration for you.
Yeah, we're really different, but very compatible. And I think it's some of what's interesting is because we're both musicians, he was always more of the kind of the front person, like when we played in bands or like did stuff, and I'm more of a supporting player.
Yep.
I love to make people sound and look great.
Yep.
I don't want to be the front person. I can. It's not a capability thing, but it's more of a, when you just know your space.
What's your favorite thing, musical?
Yeah, I want to hear all about this musical stuff. But
My favorite thing generally to do with music, or what do I? It's a big question.
I'm just waiting to see what you
that's the
say
show.
now.
That's the show. What about this idea? It's all big questions.
Well, it's related to probably the work that I have done and love. I love arranging different voices. So because when I was in school, I did composition and arranging. And I love bringing together different sounds to make something beautiful, or working with other people to orchestrate something that nobody could do on their own. I love playing music with people and being a part of creating something together. I can play on my own or write on my own. I just don't enjoy it. So it's much harder to compel myself to do that.
What do you play?
I play acoustic guitar.
Okay.
And
I've
sing.
known her for a while. I've never heard her play.
Well, sometime have a little party here
Why
and I'll
don't
come
we?
play
Why don't we bring your guitar to our breakfast meetings? We have
in the restaurant. Greasy Spoon guitar show.
Why not?
we have breakfast club.
I mean, do you still feel like you're maybe a little introverted?
Yeah.
And I'm leading that, and I don't want to. But yeah, it seems to me like you're a little shy. Is that
I am.
fair?
Yeah, I'm an outgoing introvert.
Yeah.
So I have no problem with like relationships and digging in and really getting to know people, but I like coming to a gathering. I'm going to find my people I want to talk to. I'm not going to be in the middle
That's the way
of all the
everybody
action.
should be
And it's
anyway.
go-
A butterfly at a networking event doesn't get anything done. But I'm surprised that you.
Is that,
They don't get anything done. And people know who they are,
You're
but
like-
that's about it.
You're like some sort of bird that flies around and
I'm
sees the
not the
butterfly, and eats
butterfly.
it. You're
Yeah.
Like a praying
one less
mantis.
butterfly. Yarr.
yeah. That's not me. So
No.
yes, introvert,
But I'm surprised to hear
outgoing.
you that you.
Yeah.
How do you? If you are an introvert, that's where you get your energy, right? You have to go recharge. You're in a house filled with like 25 or 30 people.
You guys are exaggerating
11.
a little bit today.
11 brothers and sisters.
So there's 6 of us in our house. So we have 7 kids. There are a lot of kids, but they don't.
Do you have 7 kids?
We do
You weren't far off.
together.
I know.
Because we're blended.
Okay.
So my husband has 3 kids that are adults, and we have 2 granddaughters, and then we have 4 kids together.
Okay.
So we've never all lived together at the same time, though.
So, so your husband, obviously, your second marriage. Then he came with children.
Yes.
But you had 4 with him.
Yep.
And how old are those kids?
So the kids we have at home are 9, almost 11, 14, and 15.
Oh, they're like right in the same mix as mine. I've got 17, 15,
Yeah.
and 8. So that's a lot of work.
It is, but it's kind of all I know. So
Sure.
I don't.
Like, where do you get your energy in that situation? Do you have like a corner you lock yourself into, or?
Well, I do hide out sometimes, but I think that
they're getting old enough that they probably are leaving you alone a little more than they were.
The teens kind of want their own space anyway.
Yeah.
The littles are, we call them the littles. They're like 9 and almost 11, but
they used to be.
Quit calling me that.
When you started calling them littles.
The bigs and the littles. They are kind of getting their own rhythm of how they like to do things, and I think that it's working well. Like when we first moved here, because we moved to Minnesota in 2019, they were really young, and that was like pandemic time. And
were they in school? Yeah, they would have been.
Yeah, because we had our youngest was starting like pre-K when we moved here.
Did you get to experience the overwhelming thrill of distance learning with a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's fun. Let me tell you.
How do we get into Zoom?
You sit there,
What
and
is
you're
the
like,
password?
kid, what I want you to do is watch the screen all day and try and interact with these people. And by the way, it's really difficult. None of it works most of the time. So
that was rough.
It was awful.
I can imagine that was terrible. I did not have to do that. My kids were, my son was late in high school.
Yeah.
My daughter was in college.
It was hard.
It was easier for me than some because I had moved here for a job and I was really immersed in that job. And even though we were remote, it was just pretty demanding. And my husband is a therapist, so he does mental health therapy. Okay. And it slowed way down for him because people weren't really used to the telehealth piece. So he would have huge gaps in his schedule while they were trying to kind of transition people into new ways of doing therapy. And so he had way more time on his hands that year, which was good because we had 4 kids trying to get into 4 different Zoom meetings. Like there were times.
It was so weird.
There were times we had 21 meetings a day to get people into.
Yeah.
Because our kids, we have several kids that are on the autism spectrum. And so they had regular school, but they also had like special education things and extra meetings to be in. It was crazy.
It was a scheduling nightmare.
Sometimes we're like, we just can't get them in.
Okay, everybody, we're taking a day off.
There was so much just trying to get by and get through. I think we're still suffering the fallout from the pandemic, business-wise.
Well, I think that we forget there's a whole generation of children that didn't learn
certain things,
some fundamental things that they would learn if it was a normal situation, even if they were homeschooled, even if all that, there is something at a time that they were very influenced. That was something that it was like a war.
It just
right?
got missed.
Like it was like it's that I don't think we even understand the impact.
No.
Do you feel like managing and navigating how to deal with these 20-some kids you have at home or whatever is... that was from you.
20, 30.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever.
No, these children...
Double digits.
These 4 children that you've got at home. Is that part of... Does that play into how you do your business, your work?
I think it does. I've had to learn to be really adaptive at home because I have, 3 of my kids are on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
And they all are so unique and different. And my husband is also neurodivergent. So we've had to figure out a lot of different ways to communicate and to guide people through change and to help people participate in the things happening, right? All the things that I do in my business. I think it's helped me to have a lot of patience and perspective.
Yeah. So you left...
Just had to.
You left a corporate gig to do this. Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's a show about entrepreneurship, right? So we got you, entrepreneurial people. Entrepreneurial people, but yeah, entrepreneurial people. We got you.
It's like your nickname.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so comfortable with it now.
The cute name. Yeah.
It's been a long time, but if she can pollywog, I can tell you, I heard it from a Frenchman. If you can do pollywog, I can remind people that entrepreneur. Remember?
I do remember, but I'm always surprised that, as of late you haven't mentioned camp.
I figure people have heard enough about my, almost 20 years working with kids at a camp. I did that.
That's awesome.
I loved it. But anyway, you got all these kids at home.
Yeah.
And most people, when you've got a whole bunch of kids, and I assume now, since everybody's mentally broken these days anyway, and I don't mean broken, you're good. But
we all have stuff.
Your husband's like busy as all get out now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, his job security was taken care of by that very same pandemic that almost ruined him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you got where I went with it. I'm
got
sorry.
you.
You're not broken. We love you. But does that afford you like his super secure job now in the mental health world? Did that afford you the opportunity to take, because you gave up some corporate thing and said, I'm going to do it on my own. I got a whole different thing I'm going to start. Right?
So that wasn't how I was able to do it. So he's a social worker. He's a therapist, but still, it's never been about like, he's never been the breadwinner, kind of the primary earner. That's always been me in corporate America. So that was really hard to walk away from. But I think that I had to just get to the point where I was like, I know this isn't for me.
Is it possible that your soul was being sucked out of you from this whole corporate world thing?
Yeah.
Did you see her face? Did you see her face? She's like, yes, I remember my soul being sucked out by the corporate world.
Yeah. I think that it was really hard, though, to come to terms with that because there's a perceived security of being in that. Like,
Totally.
you've got your paycheck and your annual bonus and your,
It's a very safe
retention
path.
types of incentives. There's a lot of things that feel good about that. But I think that I moved here for the job I had, and I'd been in the same industry for 25 years.
Right.
The same company for 21. So you kind of think, this is my forever. I'm just going to like push through.
And you're in your what? You're in your 40s at that point thinking like, am I really just going to do, this is all life has for me is this? Is that what you were thinking?
Well, kind of. I got there, but when I moved here, there's all the promise of the new job, and this is amazing, and they moved my whole family out here, and yay, and you get into it, and it's not that there aren't good things. Like I loved my team, I loved a lot of the people I worked with, but there was just stuff about, like when you are a people-centered change person like me, but you're working in a big company where you can't do things the right way,
right.
which is most big companies.
You can't do things any way other than how they tell you to do them, right? Basically.
Well, you're just limited in your
The
influence.
culture is enduring,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't think they're bad.
no, I don't think so. But the change is difficult in a culture where people only know that thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's
Yeah.
like you just keep doing that thing. And even though they know they need to change, you're talking about a matrixed organization.
Yeah, like you don't- There's so many people and so
they
much
would
stuff
literally
going on.
have to like start 8 companies all over again for that to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I would design things that were people-centered, and someone else has to approve it, right? And it's like, yeah, but we're not going to do that stuff. We're going to do this, right? We'll do this piece of it,
Yeah, that's nice.
Which
There's
is-
a reason we don't fit in those worlds.
which is an incomplete design. So you're still just like talking at people and not engaging. And
Yeah.
some of that happened, and then there's a lot of other things that happened that I won't get into, but it basically kind of got to the point where I was like, this is sucking the life out of me. I have nothing left to give my family. And we moved here
they need
so
you.
I could be more present because I used to travel here a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if we lived there, I wouldn't have to travel and have more time with family. But then once I was here,
They were just taking your time anyway.
it became all consuming.
Yeah.
I knew that I
Where did you move
needed
from?
to-
Oregon?
No, I was in Oregon first, then Phoenix area, and then here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you like Phoenix?
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got family there too.
It's
My
kinda
dad.
cool. I mean, it's
there.
whatever. It's a nice place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really good place. We probably never would have moved if not for me being with a company that was headquartered here. So moved here. And all of that was, I just had my duties and my job change enough that I was like, this isn't for me anymore. I'm good at it, but that doesn't mean I should keep doing it.
Right.
But I never meant to be a business owner.
Accidental entrepreneurship. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
hold on a second.
Well, I mean, she
Accidental.
meant to do it when she did it.
I know, but I have to say it. Accidental entrepreneur. I have to figure out how to
Did
say
you
it.
really have to say
Yeah,
it?
I have to figure out how to say accidental now in French.
It feels like when you say it, it seems like you're disgusted with
my
the
gosh.
idea, the
It's
way
maybe
you say
just
it.
it's maybe just the way
Disgusted.
I think. Oh, I don't want to alienate our large French crowd. We have a lot of people in France who love this show.
I know,
We're big in
that's true.
France.
We're big
Forgive
in-
us, please.
We're big in France. No, it's true. Big in France. But I'm sure accidental has to be a French word,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I think we're the top 8% of podcasts in France.
Yeah, you used 8%. You can always tell someone you're the eighth most important this or that, and they're like,
They won't fact
I'm
check
not
you.
going to look that up because you know what? They didn't claim first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Nah, fine, eighth. Yeah,
I'm
I believe
going
it.
to apply that to my FactSet keynote speeches.
Throw it in there.
Like I am
Yeah.
the 8th largest
The eighth.
change management company in the state.
That's right.
And
Eighth
they'll be
most
like,
sought
8th
after.
largest? Oh yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Sounds
You can-
feasible.
And if you really don't want to get in trouble, you can say eighth most important, because important isn't checkable
That's
anyway.
subjective, right?
Yeah, it doesn't like
I'm important to my family and my friends.
As per most people's opinion, I'm the 8th most important change management company.
And we are definitely.
Actually, the truth of it is, I would say, the way that Summer does her work, and this is not flattery, but it is flattery, that she should be the first, because the way that she approaches her work is so impressive compared to other change management, and it's recognizing.
Oh, look at this is very genuine.
I'll tell you why. Like I'm not just puffing you up, bitch.
Woo, dry January is over.
I'm just not puffing you up, because the way that you do it recognizes not only how hard change is, but how hard it is to work with people that are managing it or that are about to do it, and really having them understand the impact of doing it right and not doing it. And so there's not a lot of people that are as nurturing as you are, but still get profound outcomes.
Like the actual work done.
And get the work done. I mean, I know a lot of change management companies, and I love all of them, but sometimes you just come in with it's like, oh, I'm not staying here. Let's just come in and make change. I'll fix all the problems, and then we'll be done, and it'll be changed. And how do you explain that? Because it's much like what I say when I talk to people about their resumes. It's like, you can put all the soft skills you want on your resume, but everybody knows you could be bullshitting, right? Like, especially
we all
nowadays,
use the same
right?
words.
You can grab it from AI. You can say, what are the best soft skills I need to be an engineer? Like sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, none of that makes any difference. What makes a difference is, can you solve the problem that company has, and the reason why they brought that forward, and that is the way that you work, in the sense that you don't go forward and say, we're just going to nurture everybody into change.
Right.
You go in and you say, here's the impact of your decision making here, and let's see how we can minimize that and still get that change done.
And you can't AI that part of it.
No.
Like you have to be a human who knows how to do that better than a different human.
Yeah.
And how many people do you have working for you, or is it just you?
So it's me and friends and family. No, it's me.
Well, that's
and
entrepreneurial
I have
of
some subcontractors, and I have a virtual assistant, and so I bring in people or collaborators. Sometimes, like I worked with Juliet, and we had a friend that was also involved in that project. So I find people that
We've been talking about this lately. I was a contractor for many years too, in construction, and like your team is as big as the number of excellent people in the field who do the work that you don't want to do yourself. Like your team can be very large, even though your company is very small.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I think it's helped to find your people and like to know when to bring them in.
Yeah.
I have a relevant question, Dr. Miller,
Okay.
in parentheses, Hawk. What do you do for fun?
Yeah.
What do I do for fun?
Do you do anything outside of managing 30 people in your house, running a business, running subcontractors, helping change happen,
I am kind of nerdy.
presenting everywhere, every week, all the time? Like, what could you possibly be doing on the side?
Well, I do music, so I mean that's
Do you
always
still
with me.
do?
Where
do
do
you
you
still
do
spend
music?
time?
Yeah, I mostly play like at church and just I noodle around with stuff at home.
Yeah.
But I play every week, so it's enough
Do you
to
do
like
it's time for dinner?
no, but I make up songs and like every one of my kids has like a song that I've made up for them, and we sing around the house when we're doing dishes and things like that. So
I love it.
I majored when I was a major in music. I did vocal jazz, so I sing lots of jazz stuff. That's kind of fun.
Do you ever play out at any of the local bars and restaurants?
No, that's probably just a capacity issue at this stage. Like it's busy.
You would though?
You know what we
I
should
would.
do? We should have an event here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have summer be the...
There's a
You
few
could.
places.
Or you can do I can do holiday music for you, or we can
holiday music. No, I want to
What if we just gave you free reign? You do the music you
do
want to
whatever you
do.
want?
Okay.
You be you.
Just give me some notice and I'll dust off some stuff.
Good. I am
No,
always.
I write. I just, once you start having kids
Did you bring your guitar today?
I did not.
Is it in your car?
No. But I
That
can
would have
come
been
back.
so perfect.
I can
would've.
come back and do some music, and you plan something.
I don't know if you know this, but
It's out there freezing.
I'm musical too.
Yeah, you sing,
I think
right?
like the Glockenspiel.
I
or
don't
something.
sing. My God, don't let me sing.
What do you do?
Unless there's
I have a feeling. She generates AI music at a high level. Let me tell you that. I've seen it.
Is
I've
that
seen it.
musicianship?
no.
What else
but
do you do?
I did grow up playing the piano.
Oh, cool.
But it took me, I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't follow rules well.
Really?
Can you even act a little surprised?
I've known you a while, so I can't.
I don't follow
She's like,
rules
yeah,
well.
was there a punchline
And
to
it
this?
was like when a piano teacher would tell me I had to practice, I'm like, I'll do it if I want to.
Oh, yeah.
You just
I
wanna
could
be
see
in the
you
driver's
probably
seat.
had that face on when you were doing it, too.
I did, but I could play pretty easily, like I could fake it like I practiced.
Yeah.
But then it, eventually it's just completely evident I'm not progressing.
It catches
even
up
though-
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when
It's
you
like-
first start, they're like, "Oh, I can tell you've been working on this," because it's
Yeah.
easier
It's like,
to
yeah.
kind of fake your way. But
And then my best lie was
In the musical world,
my best lie to my piano teacher.
I'm just saying, there got to be more. I'm sure this isn't like the best lie. I'm
of
sure
this
there's others.
era of your life,
Yeah.
go.
I'm generally, from the story I'm about to tell you, you'll realize I'm not a very good liar.
I know you're
like
not.
it's like pretty obvious when I'm like
You're way too good at just telling the
playing cards with me.
what you
is-
actually think. Yeah.
You know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
I am not. I don't lie well, but I went in there and I was conjuring this up all morning because I had for several weeks in a row not practiced. So I came
Classy.
straight out, still 3 weeks behind, right? And the
Yeah.
same song. And I went in there and she's like, "Did you practice?" And I'm like, "Well, the cat had an accident on my piano book, and so I couldn't practice." And she's like, "I think we're done here."
Well, that was
Fired me immediately.
if you don't mind my saying, that's
Sometimes
a really
you
bad
have to.
lie.
Sometimes
It's
you
a
have to fire the
terrible
client.
lie.
Yeah.
It was
Sometimes.
the worst lie. I spent all morning conjuring up this bullshit lie about a cat.
Nice one.
I never was really good at it.
Yeah.
Not good. And I'd like to be, sometimes I feel like I'd really like to be better.
At piano.
Well, now you don't have to
Lying.
follow. You don't.
No, I can still play
Don't get
one
better at
song.
lying. I like the blunt honesty part of you. That's good.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, it's a little scary at times. You're like, oh shit, here she comes. She's gonna say something. Oh! But then it's better than Minnesotans. Upper Midwesterners are so they don't tell you anything about themselves or what they are actually thinking or feeling, and that gets old too.
Did you grow up here? Where did-
Yeah, I grew up in Minnesota.
But you have this direct approach. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Years of abuse, I'm thinking.
God, I was gonna make a terrible joke
It's a
that would get
gift.
me canceled. Clearly not enough abuse.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's awful.
I don't know.
can't
I
say
don't
shit
know what
like
it
that.
was. I literally never spent any time in the East Coast, but I'm very straightforward, very, it's damage, I'm sure.
I don't know, but
It's
I
a good trait.
appreciate it though.
Yeah.
I
It's
like.
a good trait.
Yeah.
I like knowing where I stand with you.
There's no pomp and circumstance here.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it.
That's been
I
hard.
wouldn't be able to
like,
tolerate
Somebody told
you.
me yesterday I did that video. I did a video for Avid Edge.
Yeah.
My marketing team, a different marketing team, told me that I needed to do an overview of Avid Edge. And I did it. And I clearly had dry lips.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I'm like, I'm not doing this over again. Like, that's who I am. Right? I had dry lips today.
You're like, CGI some nice lips on me, would
Yeah.
you?
And it's like, I
all kinds
sent
of
it
wrong.
in and I'm like, if you
Oh,
want me to
man.
redo it, I'm happy to redo it. No big deal. And they're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
But I know people were like, look how dry her lips were.
I don't know. I like just throw it out there into the world. Like we're all trying to be so freaking perfect all the time that I can't stand any advertising anymore.
Yeah.
It all drives me crazy. It's always the
Because
same.
you are perfect, Sam.
I am?
No polish needed.
I think far from it. Far from it, but thank you. I'll take it.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we are. Thank you for
Yes.
coming.
We do have to we have to get rolling. You got any other ideas in there?
What?
This
Is this the way you're teeing up the end of the show?
Unless you were you trying to quit? Were you trying to get it done, or were you going to throw in the? You got a big idea for us?
Well, I always do that.
Yeah, okay,
but
good.
you don't have to. We don't have to. But
Our
because I know we're
audience,
late on time.
The French
I know.
people are like, give us the idea.
I can
Give
shock.
us an idea.
Viva la idea. That's not.
I think
we
that's
know.
what they say.
We know.
Yeah.
The French, they love us.
Did you come with an idea?
With an idea that, like a new idea.
Like, what about
Anything.
this idea?
I think that it's more of a maybe advice about being an accidental entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I first started into it, people had a lot of opinions. You need this.
Oh, everyone's
You need
always
it.
got a lot of
Yeah.
opinions.
Like, you have to have a target audience and you have to have whatever.
I love it
People
when
have all
people
these
say,
things that they
you
say.
You have to. It's like, thank you.
And you
for telling
don't.
me I have to.
You don't need all of that stuff. I think that you have to understand what problem you solve and who that serves.
Yes.
Great.
But because I deal with change, nobody's good at it. No industry, no size of company, like
No
nobody's.
individuals.
Yeah, I just need to be in a room with decision makers who feel the pain of change, which is almost every business leader.
Just help them out.
And I think that it freed me up a lot to realize that even though there was this kind of formula people had followed, I didn't have to follow that formula, which you probably appreciate because you probably don't like following formulas.
I don't like it when you follow a formula.
There's things you can learn though.
You got to get fairly close.
Yeah, you can pick the good things from
Right.
what people are doing.
Yeah.
But I didn't have to be like, this is my industry, this is the revenue, this is like, I didn't have to get that narrow to be able to serve people and to have plenty of business
Good.
and need. And I think that was really freeing to realize. And you also don't have to have it figured out when you first start. I just looked at my first year as a test and learn year.
Yep.
I'm going to try some things and I'm going to see what I like. And just because I can't do it doesn't mean I have to. Like,
No, exactly.
it was freeing to just say I'm going to be in the spaces that are energizing and inspiring.
Yeah.
And
So it's like just people.
Yeah.
People sometimes analysis paralysis an idea, right? And so I love that advice that you just gave because it's like just make a little action, make it a beta action, just like try it out.
Version
Put it out there,
one.
see what happens.
yeah, I think you have to be able to just it's a little bit non-committal sometimes, but I think what I'm committing to is learning.
Yeah.
I'm going to try this. I'm going to learn.
If you're learning, I mean, that's good, solid entrepreneurial advice. Because if you're learning, if you're failing, but learning from those little failures, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
So-
And you've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You're
more
like-
than I ever expected to.
It's not sucking the soul out of you.
No, it doesn't mean it's not hard though.
It is hard. We
It's
understand
hard in a
that.
different
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
It's hard in a different way.
But
It's
you're
like-
building something. You get to be creative,
Yeah.
and I think that energizes people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I never thought that I never knew what I was missing when I was in a different environment. And now I'm like, I get to like decide what I'm doing here. I get to choose the work that's exciting. I get to work with cool people. I get to say no to the stuff that's not right for me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you get into something and you look under the hood and you're like, this isn't for me. And you couldn't tell before you got that close.
Yeah.
But you can take a step back and like realign and shift gears.
It's okay
focus.
to say no to stuff. It's okay to
Yeah.
say no to work.
And I didn't have that freedom before.
No, you didn't. You would have never landed yourself on the 8th biggest podcast in France. 8th biggest entrepreneurial podcast or
Gotta narrow
podcast
that
in
down.
general? Like, is it just?
Entrepreneurial.
Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one will fact check that one.
Nobody will fact check.
You wouldn't have landed yourself. I'll start from the top on the on the 8th eighth largest entrepreneurial, best, most important, and widely viewed entrepreneurial podcast in France.
Yes.
That's right.
Damn, I did that a great job. That's like
It was really good.
I think France might sponsor us.
all of France.
Country.
Coming at you, France.
Okay. Well,
All right, Summer. Well, this has been tons of fun.
Au revoir.
She's
Way to close it out.
Just for our French fans. Yeah.
I think we're good, right?
We're good.
Yeah, you got anything else? I love my
I don't know.
kids. Anything like that? No, we're good. All right.
I do love my kids.
There you go.
And my husband.
How
Done.
How would she disagree with?
No, that's it. I figured like we kind of ended abruptly. I figured we'd give her a little chance to say, shout out to my kids, I love you.
Okay.
Shout out to my
Like,
kids.
we're not on TV on the
No.
road.
The kids love it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm kidding. Let's get out of here.
And we're out.
Oh God, if you lasted this long.